Good morning, traders. Welcome to Flow with the Markets Tuesday. Iliya here. I'm really happy to have you on the channel as usual. You know what we're going to do in this video. We just jump on the charts and have a nice update. We try to flow with the markets, see what happened on Monday, how we can adapt to it, what we can expect today, and for the remaining of the week. Of course, it's very hard to forecast the week in terms of day trading, right? Because you know the market keeps changing up and down, up and down. You have different sentiments being introduced, different news, and all of that stuff. So really, I might say I'm bullish right now, but then even like 2 hours later, I might be bearish, right? So really what we try to do here is to flow with the market. I'm just going to show you my daily process, how I flow, how I adapt to my structure, how I kind of change everything, so you can of course learn something from it, right? You know, I'm a day trader, so what I mostly care about is what is going to happen today. So I try to catch the daily move, and really like those long-term analysis, those big kind of moves don't matter to me that much. Okay, so hopefully you're having an amazing start of your weeks. I took a nasty loss on EU yesterday. I'm going to show you that as well. But yes, let's actually get into it. So first of all, make sure to be checking your economic calendar. Today, we don't have nothing to worry about. We have like 3 speeches from the Fed, but they're not from Powell. So of course, you can monitor them around that time, but probably it's not going to be a big impact. We had an interest rate from the RBA this morning for me, 3.30. They expected to hike it to 2.85, right? But they did to 2.6, which you can see it's actually negative, right? But I still think a hike of interest rate on the currency is positive, like in terms of the currency appreciation. But if they expected 85 and it's 2.6, we might get like a more bearish sentiment for that, because people are going to be like, oh, they were going to hike it more, but they hiked it less, right? So I'm going to go short. So this is kind of the psychology I have right now. But yeah, make sure to check out tomorrow we have for the NCD. Tomorrow we have for the NCD, a non-monetary policy, not very important, PMI right there, employment change for the US, and services PMI. Then I think we have manufacturing PMI the other day. No, initial jobless claims right there. And yeah, pretty much on Friday we have non-farm payrolls, unemployment rate, and all the news that come with NFP. Okay, so we're trading in the first week of the month. So we have NFP. This week is usually not the best, right? It's rather kind of slow, rather choppy. The market kind of still decides on the direction. But of course, for intraday trades, we always have something. So let me not talk too much and actually get into the analysis. Try to make it short and sweet so I can publish it on time. DXY, we had 2 outcomes. The first outcome was to potentially see a pullback so we can get a short. And the second outcome is to actually start rushing into the demand zone and then, for example, wait for a shift so we can continue with this overall uptrend. Okay, because on the daily and the weekly, we're bullish. And right now, this whole thing right there is a daily leg. And as you can see, we are just about to tap into the overall 50% of it. So that's great. Okay, so that's great. Well, yeah, yesterday we kind of started with a little wick into the highs, right? There was a gap. It appears as a wick right there, but we failed to break the high, and then we just slowly started to make our move lower. But it was very indecisive, right? It was very indecisive, all of this price, and you can see just around New York, we kind of pushed into the downside, and right now we're continuing to push lower. So technically right here we have a 4-hourly break right there. The market pulls back a little bit, then it continues to break. So is this a break for me? Yeah, well, we can say that it's a break, and then, for example, draw the supply zone, because right now we're tapping into a daily demand. We can of course refine a little bit. So currently what I have is this, right, just as a smaller zone. If this gets broken, then of course I'm going to be looking for the wick. So we can just separate that big zone into 2, so we're a bit more precise, right? So what I'm going to be looking for right here is eventually to see a 4-hourly shift of structure, right? So we can create a higher high and then potentially to see the reversal if the daily is really going to prevail. Okay, if you're looking for aggressive entries right now, I'm going to suggest you wait for a 15-minute shift. Okay, so yes, we're tapping into a very strong demand zone. I spotted also a little bit of a structural liquidity low, right, that we can utilize. So if this gets taken, right, and then we start shifting on the 50-minute, then I think we can have like a short-term retracement, and then we're gonna know, okay, so the market is gonna then encounter supply, and it's gonna be a key question to see whether the supply is gonna hold, so we're gonna push lower, right, or whether the supply is gonna break, so we're gonna make a fall high, and then we can potentially look for reversals, right? So those are my 2 outcomes for today, and precisely right now at this time of recording, which is 30 minutes into Frankfurt Open, there is nothing. Okay, So right now we have like an opportunity to go short on the Dixie in terms of the 50-minute and also long on EU in terms of the 50-minute. But this guy is tapping into daily demand, right? And EU is tapping also into daily supply. So taking a short, like taking a 15-minute short like this, for example, we also have like a 4-hourly zone overall right there. But taking a 50-minute short like this, right, when we're coming from a major demand zone, like a big demand zone right there, is not high probability. Why? Well, because there are probably a lot of buyers entering from this zone right now. It's a very strong one. It's on the daily. So you don't want to trade the 50-minute zone against the daily zone, right? It's just logical. So I'm probably going to just let it go for now. Just let it settle. Let it like see how it's going to play out. Because for me, I'm just going to go to EU right now. Like taking a short trade like this is low quality, right? So what I would love to see is actually to take maybe even a long, like if we pull back right now, if we break this low, if we make a shift of structure, if we pull back, then I'm going to be interested to take a long. And then potentially I'm just going to target like around maybe 5 hour towards the supply zone. Okay, so that could be just a short-term reversal trade. Okay, but it's not reversal because we're right now technically trading from a daily zone. So I have confidence from that. So the question is this going to hold or is that going to hold? That's the big question, right? This is why you don't go long right now, but you wait for a shift, right? You wait for the market to align with the direction you think the market is going to go, right? So don't think too much, just wait to see it actually happen. EU. So as explained in the weekly outlook, we were pretty bullish, right? So we broke structure low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And we have right now, again, this Iliya wave, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and just creating the 5th right now, which is what I really expected. I had this as a potential target. And then I said that we have this low quality short area, but as we discussed, this to me was not a valid supply because it didn't really break anything major, right? We had this kind of push, we had this pullback, then we broke the high, and then we broke the low, but this to me is not a 4-hourly reversal, right? So yeah, we can see that we actually responded quite a few times from it. It was very corrective, like a little bit hard to get in, but yes, right now we just actually got broken, right? So we just broke it. I was looking for a quick long this morning, but it just didn't pull back, right? So where we're tapping right now is we can take this zone and make it smaller. We're tapping into this supply, which is this kind of buy, then we push, then we bought again, and then we sold off. So we're tapping right now into the extreme. You can do this as well. You can take the wick, you can take this candle, whatever, but we are tapping into supply, right? Because the overall supply is this guy, right? This is the whole range, the whole base, right? So then of course you can refine it in order to make the zone smaller, so you get a higher chance usually. And as you can see right now, just right now we're tapping 50% just right now of the daily leg, right? So very important zone right there, which is why I think right now going long, sorry, is not very high probability, right? If I just look, because if I just look at the structure right now, like what I was just looking at is observing this last 15-minute break. We had this last 15-minute break, then I had this demand zone, but the market just threw a little wick right there and pushed away, right? I wanted to see like a bearish candle in, so then I was gonna look to go long just towards this high, right? But this is just the market just opened and took out the high, and right now continues to pump, right? So pretty much yesterday, I took a long from here, but my stop loss positioning was not the best, right? It kind of tapped and actually responded. My community members took their 5 hours, but they had like stop loss below the low. I went a little bit not very nice with the 1 minute. So I waited for this manipulation to occur after the shift. So I took my trade like from here, and my stop loss was very tight. Like I right now enter with stop loss below 5 pips, right? And it didn't make much sense to do it like this, right? So the better choice will be to just wait for something like that, right? But then on MT4, I saw this candle was my entry candle, so I entered from there, stop loss below the candle, so got kicked out, and then the market actually ended up pushing very nicely. There was then a couple of long trades right there, but I didn't take them, right? There were a couple of break-evens, probably all of those break-evens, right? I think the best trade is actually this guy right there. If you enter like if you can get like a 5 pip stop or just 4 or something, you might get to like 4R, but then again you get break-even. And then maybe you wait for a little shift and enter right there, but again, it just doesn't look amazing, right? So that is EU. It's a big bastard. Like it doesn't usually provide. When it provides, it's great, but a lot of times it just kind of chops around. So yes, currently, again, as I said, like similar to the Dixie, I would like to find like a liquidity area that we can potentially take, and this is the only liquidity area that I see. This is the only high within this zone that we can potentially use as liquidity. So yes, right now we're tapping into this supply zone, right? So again, doing something like this is low probability, right? It could definitely happen, but it's very low probability. Why? Because we're making a forward high. So we're breaking this high, which is the major forward high. And usually after we take out a high, what happens? Well, you start to pull back. You start to create a higher low, right? So this is the first thing. And the second thing is that we're tapping into supply on the left. Okay, so definitely I'm gonna try to avoid longs. If this happens, right, if we massively reject right now and shift, then I'm gonna be looking to take a first short with potentially like hoping to see pullback somewhere right there, like because right now this is our major high low. If we drop to the 4H, like pretty much this is the pullback, but then this is the real pullback before the break. So technically our forward range is going to look something like this, right? So I'm going to try to take it like towards the 50% or a little bit below it. So that could be one example. But yes, right now it's just all about flowing. And I'd say if you go long right now, well, take it with low risk, because again, the odds are not in our favor. So yes, just flowing with it right now. Let's see, maybe it's going to develop a little bit as we speak. EJ also turns bearish, so I was actually expecting that push into the highs, but you can see, yeah, it didn't happen very nicely. Like we pulled back 50%, beautiful, and I told you like you should be going long already. And the market, so I drew this demand, and as you can see, the market actually responded from this demand. During Asia, it pushed, but then it chopped and it pulled all the way down and actually took it out. But then what you have to do immediately is to wait for the new 50-minute structure break, right? Which happened right there, right? So after this, you actually got a beautiful trade right there. A beautiful trade, but it's again a little bit yeah, it's not really overnight, but a bit late, right? So if you are long on EJ from here, then great job, because this is the trade, right? But the bad thing is that we actually took out the high, right? So we took out the high. So what we technically did is we had a new forward range, right? From this low, this high, but what you can see the market did, it pulled back below 50%, made the 50-minute shift, and then we go for a new high. So EJ, very good delivery so far. And what we're doing right now is we're just making another high, and we're tapping into supply. So once again, we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pushes, even the sixth one. So the probability of this one continuing to push and creating ranges to the upside is getting lower and lower. Right, we're tapping into this massive wick right there, but still we're bullish on the 4H. There's our 4-hour structure break. We're currently forming a bullish range, which is still forming. So wait for that range to finish, right? If you go on the left, it's pure massive pump dump right there. So there is no structural liquidity, which means that the market is going to generate it on its own, right? So what we can have right now is maybe like a range manipulation, another manipulation, and then we can start dropping lower. Okay, so if you're looking for short, really wait a lot, right? And if you're looking for longs, of course, this is the last demand zone, similar to what we have on EU. But again, as I told you, this one is already forming into the supply zone, so it's not a very high probability one. Okay, so wait for it to push, and yeah, wait for it to like push higher highs, higher lows, then wait for it to shift and see if it's gonna hold. If it doesn't, then wait for it again, like something like what happened right there. Where is it? Okay, I deleted it. So wait for the 50-minute to align, wait for it to hold, and then go short. Okay, but again, is it really gonna go short? I don't know. Well, remember, we're coming in from a weekly zone, so we're potentially even going from a weekly high. Okay, so keep going long, but if you have like such a supply zone on the left, expect a reaction. Okay, expect a reaction. So the reaction that we could have right now on EJ is a potential 50% reaction of the forward range, and then potentially to continue going higher. Okay, so this is how I'm gonna flow with it. Just again, it needs more time. I might have to do those on Wednesday to have even a little bit more of a price action. So what I said on the Aussie, like I was a little bit 50-50 on this one because we had this MSS right there. So technically we were still trading within this range, right? This is the push, all of this is minor. So we went actually towards the demand, but right now we are about to make a new high. Okay, but what I had on all the pairs, like the NCDs and the JPYs as well, is that little range right there, and also this little supply right here, which was kind of the extreme. But the market actually responded from this zone right there, which is the extreme reversal zone, right? Tapped, massive response, went very close to breaking it, right? And right now we are just breaking it and making actually a new high. Okay, so right now we officially have a high, which is right there, and it's just being made. So What this means is that you right now have also, you're going to have a new 4-hourly demand zone, which is great, right? So wait, I would say wait for this 4-hourly candle to close, wait for it to print bullish, then just wait for the market to pull back towards this zone and look for the continuations. Of course, oftentimes I say like such a trade on Tuesday and then it actually ends up reversing. Well, that's fine, right? Because you're just going to flow with it on the other day. But for now, this is how I look at it. A very nice impulse right now, creating this big 4-hourly zone right there on the 50-minute. It's a huge sell-off during the interest rate. We can see that actually responded positive. Like in the moment, it went to the lows, right? But then we actually reversed higher. So let's see what's going to happen. Okay, usually you don't want to trade Forex after interest rate decisions, right? Because the market is very volatile. It's usually very wicky, but this is not that bad, right? So currently just focusing on the structure, we have a 4-hourly reversal. We have a nice new demand zone created. So if I get a pullback towards this demand zone, I'm going to be dropping to the 50-minute time frame and looking for longs. AJ similar as well. Like again, we were tapping into this demand zone. So what we had to see is the market to potentially pull back and hold from this one and shift bearish, but no, the market actually just ran off and broke the highs, right? So we have to adapt. Let's see how. Well, pretty much similar to the Aussie. Yeah, so this one was the break of the 4-hourly low, and then there is a break of the 4-hourly high, right? So we actually pulled back to create a valid range, which is more than one candle. We broke it, and once again, yeah, we have like this big 4-hourly demand zone. The market is currently breaking, and of course you can consult a little bit like with the daily or like with supply zones on the left. I see this big wick as one potentially. You can even take it like this, but this one is way too big, right? So have a look on the left, like where you can potentially expect a reaction, or at least like for the market to stop and pull back. Like I see we have one right there. Oops, one right there, which we're just about to tap. So again, if this 4-hourly candle closes like this, nicely bullish, then I'm going to be looking for a pullback towards this zone, 50-minute setup down there, and then potentially continuation higher, right? That is my Aussie analysis. It's very simple, and I think NCD is going to be the same. Yeah. So pretty much what we expected is that little short, simply because like the NCD and the JPYs actually broke the high and then broke the low. So technically this was a bearish range, but we pull back. And even if you actually wanted to short from here, you did not get it, right? This is not a top of your zone. It just kind of kissed it, but the 50-minute was bullish. It came in bullish and it just broke, right? This is why I always wait, guys. Don't just draw zones and trade from those zones. You need that confirmation, right? You need the first a middle time frame confirmation, and then you need an entry confirmation as well. Okay, so this one still hasn't made a new high. This time, like the NCD again is usually weaker than the Aussie. You can see the Aussie is already pumping, right? This one is just about starting, right? So it's weaker, but yeah, I would still kind of keep the same bias because they usually go together. But of course, in order to be really technical, then I need to see this one go first, right? I need to see this broken, and after it breaks, then of course look for the pullback, higher low, and wait for a shift right there. Wait for a 50-minute shift, and then of course we can start to look for some continuations. And again, yeah, keep in mind that we found like some very major zones right there, so the market is pretty extended. So this is why we might actually have a bullish reaction. It's not a bad time to have it, and pretty good place as well. Like look at that, 50% of this zone has been tapped, right? We got a reversal right now, right? So I do think we can take some nice longs as a reversal trade. Similar story right there, right? So we either expect to break the low and then look for short, or just an immediate short, but no, the market held from demand, and right now is on the JPY, it's already breaking above the high, which is great. So again, similar setup, right? Similar setup. Well, not similar, the same, right? The same setup. Let's see. Yeah, of course you can find something on the left. You can find maybe this one to be a potential reaction point in order to give you that higher low, and then of course your next target could be like something like this, let's say. Right, so wait for this candle to close, wait for it to make a new higher high, then wait for the pullback, right? As it comes towards this zone, then you wait for a 50-minute shift to align, and then you go long. Okay, so that will be very simply my outlook. It looks like today might not be a trading day, as I see those pushes right now. UJ is still cooking in this one. Like, yeah, broke the high, broke the low, responded, and right now broke the high and then broke the low again. Right, so it just keeps moving up and down, up and down, up and down. So, give it some time, okay, guys? So give it again some time. I keep saying this, but it's just choppy right now. It's just choppy. It's probably making some sort of a manipulation patterns right there. But yeah, pretty much the most recent low right there got taken, and Yeah, pretty much the supply is right there. It looks like it's responding, but I also see the JPYs are right now pumping higher. But this is probably because of their base currency. Like the euro is bullish, the Aussie is bullish, and the NCD is bullish, and this is why the JPYs are also going bullish, right? But yeah, I would avoid going short on UJ right now. It doesn't have enough confirmation. I would like to go short if it breaks another lower low and then it starts to trend. Okay, so because we had like here the first break, it didn't hold. Right now we have a second break, right? The second shift of the trend. So what I want to see is this one to break to confirm, because a trend is confirmed after 2 breaks, right? So there is the first, this is the first indication of a shift, and there is the confirmation. Okay, because again, what you usually tend to have is a reversal, right? And then it taps, tries to hold, and then it breaks, right? They're like, oh, but we had a shift, but then it didn't hold. Well, yes, because it failed to go lower. And it actually the opposite side just took control. Okay, so again, give this one some time and wait for a new structure break before you go short. But if you feel risky, it doesn't look very bad, right? I haven't checked the 50-minute right now. This is your 4-hourly supply. It pulled back very nicely, and right now it's kind of starting to shift on the 50-minute. So it looks rather juicy, but not for me. UCAT to the moon. I'm gonna start looking at this one. Like, look at that, 1, 2, 3 drives into high. Right now it's shifting to 4-hourly. So looks like the Dixie might get weaker. The pound is just like keeps rampaging into the highs, right? So nothing much to say on this guy. I had this as a supply zone right there. You can see it's right now being invalidated. To me, still the major high low is this. This is my valid range. Why? Well, because this is like the last range before we pushed. There is a little pullback candle right there, but this is not a valid structure break, right? It's just a base candle. You can use this one as demand zone, but if we break below this one, this is not going to be a 4-hourly reversal, right? So yeah, it just keeps pushing up. Like yesterday, broke the Asian low, massive pump, then potential longs right there. Right now, it's just bearish Asian range, tapping into demand on the left and continuing going higher. So nothing really to update on GU, right? It just keeps pushing. So keep following it and wait for cleaner structure, right? This one has been rather volatile right now with what is happening in the UK. So it's not the best. I think the Aussie was actually the best yesterday. So GJ is currently tapping into this supply zone, but it's already taking it out. And I have said that I will be looking for a 4-hourly shift right there. But yeah, well, that is possible, right? That is possible. But just looking at how it's pushing right now, there's like nothing significant. And we had like this big battle between the higher time frame and lower. And yeah, well, this overall, what is it, like a weekly? What is this, like a quarterly zone or something? I don't even remember what I drew on the weekly outlook. But yeah, we're responding from this. And right now we're just purely bullish. Right, we're purely bullish, and currently again our 4-hourly range starts from here, and all of this is a big push. So if we have like a pullback towards this demand zone, then I'm going to be interested for longs, right? Of course, this zone right now you can refine it to this, because this is like the last buy, then we sold off and broke structure, so we're just tapping again right now into this supply zone. So again, going long right now in terms of the 50-minute is not the best, right? So it's not good to start doing like this, right? Because we're tapping into supply, similar to what I said on EU, right? But what is good is that you wait for the high to form, wait for the market to pull you back into 50%, and then start going long. Okay, so it's gonna require a little bit of patience, right? But trade with the 4-hourly structure, right? Of course, I always say follow the 50-minute as long as you're not wrong, right? So follow the 50-minute until you're wrong. If the 50-minute keeps on making highs, you keep going long, right? And then of course, when you get stop loss and the market shifts on the 50-minute, then you can actually start going short and taking that retracement phase, then a 50-minute shift, and then you start going with a continuation phase, right? So this is where we are right now on GJ, okay? It needs some time. Euro GBP, I don't care about it. Gold is yeah, we can definitely see that the Dixie is getting weaker, and gold is actually responding. So we had like this overall 4-hourly bullish shift, we pull back towards the 50%. So what I expected is actually a potential kind of reversal, right? Sorry, not reversal, yeah, but a continuation with this daily zone that I think it's a daily. And what I told you is that if we break this daily zone, then we might actually start confirming like a bullishness. Was this a daily zone? Yeah, this is a daily zone, so we broke above it, and we're tapping into a bigger one right now. We're responding massively from the 1615 is what we tap, not 16 round, but 1615, still fine, right? 1620 could be like a nice round number. So yeah, I'm curious to see what's gonna happen right there. But right now, to me, like for intraday, the 4-hourly is bullish, right? We're forming that little boy right there, but this is not significant, right? I think I would like to see at least 1 or 2 more candles to form a valid range, like something like this. This is a valid to me, like this is like a valid higher low. But right now we're tapping here. Like what I see as potential liquidity is this high, which is just about to get broken, maybe. Come on. Yeah, just about to break this little guy. So if I just make it carefully, yeah, we're just about to break. So you can like go aggressive right now and then start looking for like a 50-minute shift bearish. So you can start going short. But of course, you know, gold traders, you know what to do. I'm just like looking at it on a hard time frame. And to me right now, it's bullish. So if I have like maybe a tap right there, maybe a reversal, then I'm going to try to go short like this. But for now, it's pretty bullish. So I don't think it's a great idea to go short if you don't get a great confirmation. Okay, so I would actually rather go long and just follow it until I'm wrong, because if gold goes, it usually goes, right? Look at that massive pump, but it already made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pushes. So it might start chopping around right there in this range. Okay, so we can give it some time and focus on the flow. I bought some stocks yesterday and then it reacted amazingly, right? It literally caught the low. Right now, I don't know why we're pretty much in extreme fear, really extended right now with the Dixie weakening a little bit. We have a little bit of it feels like a little risk on perspective. Indices are shifting, like you can see US 30 actually broke out the high right there, and it's just probably about to also break this high right here, which makes it pretty bullish. It's one single push, so pretty much like our higher low or low is right there. There is like nothing in the middle that we can trade. Of course, when it forms a high, I'm going to draw the range and look for a potential 50% so I can start trading it higher. But yeah, like yesterday, I was actually looking for longs within this precisely right there. But like tap once, tap 2 times, tap 3 times, right? And I was looking for that shift. And by the time it shifted, it kind of started giving these little guys. I'm not really used to it, like, but probably there are the longs right there. And then it just pumped without a stop, right? So again, we're right now in a push phase, and this is the worst place or the worst scenario that price can be. Why? Well, because you just gotta wait, right? It's a push phase. You gotta wait for the push phase to finish. How do you know it's gonna finish? Well, when the lower time frame starts to reverse, right? So then you can go counter trend. But then, of course, the best place to trade is when the market is in a pullback phase. It has finished the pullback and it's about to start making a high. Okay, so again, Nasdaq as well breaking above it, right? It's breaking above it, so it's in a push phase right now. It's reversing, it's breaking the last 4-hourly high. So we just have to wait, right? You just have to wait. You can of course look for a supply zone on the left, so you can like try to project where the market is gonna stop. So in this case, it's this little guy, right? So let's see how it's gonna top right there. And if we get like a 50-minute shift from this zone, then we can start looking for shorts, right? But the shorts are gonna be counter trend of this range, okay? And similar to S&P, very nice reaction as well. So yeah, I bought it right there, but I'm still going to be looking for one more drop. Yeah, curious to see like this bearish market, how it goes. Like it tends to trend and it tends to, like you can see, usually it does this, like a short-term bullish rally, then just to go down again. Like we have those a lot. You can see even right here, we had a pretty big uptrend before we initiated lower. Big uptrend before we initiated lower, little uptrend right there, right? It just kind of gives you the shift and then it goes lower. So I do expect something like this is happening right now, just to gather more liquidity, to pull us back a little bit, and then just to reverse, okay? And yeah, Bitcoin and Ethereum, just let them go. Not much of a development, guys, while I'm speaking, right? So we can see that the Dixie just took out that liquidity low that I was speaking to you about, right? So what we can start looking for right now is definitely for the pullback to start occurring. Euro USD is just tapping into this range, right? It's tapping into this range. What you can do is you can go a bit aggressive, and if you really think that this one is going to reverse, you can like go on a 5-minute and then just start following like the 5-minute a little bit, right? But to me, this one is aggressive. I wouldn't really risk my money on this. So yeah, like the Aussies as well, just pumping right now. It's in a push phase, so we have to wait. So it really sucks because the majority of Tuesdays are in a push phase, so there is not like a big update. So we just have to wait right now. But yeah, like I think the Aussie provided the best setup yesterday after it broke out the high right there. We had a demand zone. It just pulled back right there. It wasn't chopping around. Like it just tapped, gave the setup, massive push, right? Massive push, and it wasn't like EU to give a stop loss. It actually held the low and massive reversal. So yeah, sometimes looking at a few more pairs, maybe it's a good idea, but it's also always good to just focus on 1 or 2 max. Okay, So I'm gonna leave it here, guys. Okay, so hopefully you found value from it. There is not like much of an update. We just keep following the overall structure. We look, of course, at supply and demand zones on the left. We look at the push phases. We look whether the flowy are making lower lows and higher highs, because if they usually do, like we have a case right now, a pullback tends to occur, right? So it's a little bit invalid to continue like looking for longs right now, right? So you should be looking for shorts to pull back and then to potentially start going long. So again, I think it's going to be a patience day, right? But we have 20 more days, 20 more trading days ahead this month. So don't rush it, right? Don't rush to go big time on Monday, Tuesday. Like wait for the clean setups to occur, wait for the clear trends and structure to occur, and then strike. Okay. I wish you an amazing week. If you have any questions, just type them in the comments or send me an email, and see you on Saturday.